Hi guys, so we're on lesson number 9. Yesterday on lesson number 8 we learned about the life cycle of a plant, but today we're going to learn about the life cycle of a plant versus an animal. So just to review yesterday's lesson, learning about the life cycle of a plant, do you guys remember the 5 stages? So try to list them in your head. Okay, so the 5 stages are the seed, the germination, the seedling, the adult plant, and the pollination, and then it goes back to the beginning. So how do you think animals' life cycles are different from plants? Try to think about the different stages of an animal and a plant, and see if you could think of any similarities and differences. So maybe it might help choosing a specific animal. So say you choose humans, they obviously plants start off as seeds, but humans do not, so that could just be one difference. So just try to think in your head the differences between the two, and then in my similarities and differences that I will talk about today, I did include some characteristics of their lives as well, in addition to the life cycle. So I'm interested to see if you guys were able to think of anything. Let me know if you were before we went over it, because I actually, as hard as it is, as easy as it is to say that plants are so different from animals, I had a hard time trying to actually think about the differences between the two. So I'm going to, I made a list of some key similarities and differences between the two. I'm sure there's many more. So I'm going to start off with some similarities and just read them to you and let yourself think about them and process them. So some similarities are they all start off with seeds, eggs, or live birth. So there's some type of thing that they start with. And then they involve multiple steps, including reproduction, and then they end in death, which is kind of sad, but plants do eventually die as well. So we both go through the death stage. We both need water and air to survive. Plants and animals are both living things. And like I said before, we both eventually do die, so plants do too, and that's actually something I really never thought about, because it's a little different from us. And then we both find ways to store food in different ways. Some differences are, even though we all start off as something and go through multiple steps, plants start off as seeds, whereas animals start off as eggs or live birth and ready to live. And then plants never grow bones in their life cycle, whereas most animals do have bones. I know there are a couple that don't, but most do. Animals grow personalities and have certain behaviors in their life, whereas plants do not. Unless anyone has seen a plant talk before, I'm not sure. You'll have to let me know. But to my knowledge, plants do not have personalities. And then plants grow spines to protect themselves from predators. So yes, humans have spines too, but it is not to protect ourselves from predators. So I didn't know that. I thought that was super cool and interesting. So that's just another difference. So can you think of any other similarities and differences in their life cycle? Try to think about maybe 2 we just went over, maybe 1 similarity and 1 difference, and tell someone in your home about them. So pause the video and then come back. Okay, so I hope they were super excited about what you had to tell them. So our activity today is to create our own Venn diagram. So I am not sure if you guys know what a Venn diagram is. I'm sure you have done them before, but you may have just not know the exact name. So I brought my pencil and paper like a student, and I'm going to draw one, and then I'll show you how to draw one in a little bit. But Okay, so for our case, this is just a really rough drawing. You can see my handwriting's a little sloppy. So I have a circle here, and then I overlapped. So this is one circle here, and this is one circle, and I overlap them. And then right here I wrote plants. So I'm gonna write about the life cycle of the plants here that that would fit a plant. And then over here I'm gonna write things that fit the animal. And then in here I'm gonna write what's both. So this would be where you would put the similarities for the both section. So I'm going to give you an example for one just to show you. So some similarities are, I'll start with the differences. I'm sorry. So plants start off as seeds. So since plants are the only ones that start off as seeds, I wrote it under the plant section, because and it wouldn't go for both because they both don't do that, and animals don't do that. And then some differences, similarities. Animals grow personalities. So like we said, animals grow personalities and plants do not. So I wrote here grow personalities because it wouldn't go under the both section because they both don't do that. And it wouldn't go under the plant section because plants don't have personalities. So then similarity. So everything in the similarity section will go under this column, both. So they both find ways to store food. So since they both find ways to store food, it would go in the overlapping section because they both do it. So yes, plants do it and animals do it. So I could have put it, so technically they would go under these sections, but they won't because they both do it. So you want to put it in the overlapping section. So then those are just examples. We went over some key similarities and differences. I'll skim over them at the end, but you'll put the similarities both go in here, and then the differences, you will put the difference of like if it's a plant, so only to the plant, you'll put it here. And if it's only to an animal, you'll put it there. And then I'm just going to show you guys like step-by-step how to draw the Venn diagram because I know it might be confusing. So you're going to draw one circle. So we got our one circle here. And then the second circle, I'm going to try to do this while showing you. I don't know if it'll work. I'm going to want it to overlap. So maybe it might be easier to start. And do you see I'm overlapping with the other circle? So that we can have the both column. Ooh, that circle's a lot bigger. So then one side could be, doesn't matter which side is which, animals, plants, both. So just like that. And I just want to remind you guys that we are talking about the life cycle. I did include some other things, but for the most part, we aren't talking about the differences in like characteristics. Mainly, we're just trying to talk about the life cycle. So I want you to try to list as many similarities and differences as you can. I challenge you guys to maybe try to do some research and find maybe an additional difference or an additional similarity between the two that I had not yet seen. And that's just a challenge to you guys. So I'm going to skim over the similarities and differences real quick. So some similarities, they're both living things, they both eventually die, they both find ways to store food, they both start off as a seed, egg, or live birth, and include multiple steps in their life, including reproduction and, like we said, death. And they both need water and air to survive. Some differences are plants start off as seeds, whereas animals start off as an egg or at live birth ready to live. Plants never grow bones in their life, whereas most animals do. Animals grow personalities and behaviors in their life, whereas plants do not. And plants grow spines to protect themselves from predators. So those were just the ones we went over. Again, feel free to do some additional research. I just compiled a few. I'm sure there's many of them. And then when you're done, you could take a picture of your Venn diagram, and you could send it to me via Google Classroom. And if you need any help doing that too, you could always ask Mrs. Andretta or I. So I cannot wait to see your knowledge of the two life cycles and their similarities and differences. And I can't wait to see what you guys have to say. Have a great day, guys.